Alright, Shalom Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Alright, Israelites, we're going to be dwelling on the returns of the Israelites that was exiled to Babylon, and when they come back, what happened to them? What happened to them? I already showed in the book of Malachi, or doing some of the book of Malachi history, how the Greeks rolled up. But I want to show you Israelites something real interesting, and if you understand this, then you can kind of you'll be on the right tracks. Man, don't you know how, in the scriptures say precept and upon precept, a little here and a little there. Well, that's what I've been doing the whole time, but this is what I want to show you Israelites, is that when the exiles come back, see, we done already went into Africa, the 99%. We done already went into Africa to do the Egyptian religion, and that's a done deal. And we know that we are the descendants of those people that went into Africa, meant to do the Egyptian religion. But, I want to show, that our enemies' main job has been to keep us from Yah worship. Everybody want to control how the Israelite worship, and it's been that way since we got the covenant. The Israelite job is to stay away from other people's worship, not based on Yah. The enemies want to control the Israelite worship. That's just it. It's the key. It's the key essence to life on this earth. If you look at the covenant that we was given and how we should have functioned, oh man, if the earth functioned like it, man, it wouldn't be no wars going on, and everybody would be straight if everybody worshiped the Yah of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I mean, and it wouldn't be no need for no wars and so forth, because everybody be minding their business, doing what they supposed to, not violating each other, And I want to show some history showing that the people's job, our enemy's job, has been to keep us off Yah worship. They want to control the Israelites' worship because they know that we was given the right keys, man, the right things to please the Creator, And then our job also was to get rid of the multiple God worshipers. Them the ones that want to keep us from worshiping Yah. It's the multiple God worshipers, the people that worship 2, 3 gods, or 3 in 1, and all that old stuff, And I just want to show you Israelites what happened with the exiles. Some cold stuff went down. Man, on them, the Israelites and the Israelite community is not even discussing or even have an idea of what happened to the exiles. A lot of Israelites think that the history just continued from the time that we got on the land all the way to the to Roman times, and that we experienced all those different cultures. And man, I've been watching a lot of videos, man, listening to the Israelites. I just watched one recently where one of the Sephardi descendants was visiting those Israelites that's in Demona, and then how the Israelites in Demona keep being stuck on the 70 AD history. Their whole organization and foundation, they ain't finna come up off of it. And then how did they believe that they're Israelites? They are Israelites based on the history of the Herd Edomite temple being destroyed in 70 AD. They don't know that Herd temple, that temple that Herd built, that was destroyed, that Herd took the original down, that the exiles, Zerubbabel and Joshua and Ezra and Nehemiah and them was dealing with, how how he took that completely down to the foundation in 20 BC, and then build him a totally new temple. This heard the Edomite, and then how Israelites think that we built the temple, and because it was destroyed, that we ran off into Africa and was eventually enslaved, and that we mixed with the African tribes and we was eventually enslaved. Man, you Israelites got to get away from that history. That history is completely false. That history is completely false. You know, if any Israelites believe that they went into Africa in 70 AD, I show repeatedly that you were using the Sephardi's history, the Edomite history, the people that claimed our heritage after we abandoned it, and then how did you using their history? You know, a lot of Israelites don't know, man, that they using other folks' history that's been claiming our heritage, and they don't take no time to try to study it or make a difference or see what's going on with it. They just accept it because they see the name Israel right there. So they just immediately think that it's talking about them, not knowing that other people been had our heritage, man, for a long time. And I could show a lot of peoples and nations moving into our land at different points in time, but mostly during the exiles time when they come back from Babylon, the Israelites that was taken to Babylon, and then when they come home, man, they start mortgaging the land and everything. They had a terrible hard time because the enemies was getting them up off the land, and was start getting in to control how they worship. You know, they tried to hold on. They tried desperately to hold on, but man, it didn't work. You know, and eventually our heritage fell over to the Sephardi's and Ashkenazi. And it's like, you know, whenever you read the history of Ezra, Haggai, Zechariah, Esther, and Nehemiah, and Malachi, you're reading about our history in the last days before the lights went out. The exiles history. You know, as I explained, it couldn't be two covenants. We couldn't have two covenants, one broken and one not broken. We know that during the Babylonian wars that the Israelites was on Egyptian religion, and that we went off into Africa meant to do the Egyptian religion. And can't nothing in the world change that. Man, the Tanakh cement that history, how we left there and went into here, and I showed it, you know, in plenty of videos that the borders of Egypt was all over here and stuff. So that put us in the place where we got enslaved, and I show our first derogatory name and stuff. I got all kind of videos showing the Israelite history. But this is what I want to show. I mean, I want to, you know, you Israelites to get the understanding of this. All right, man, the book of Ezra. All right, Ezra gonna be the first man, kind of, you know, with the Israelites, man, to come home, man, under Cyrus' rule. Cyrus was in control, and I think the Creator had called Cyrus, man, he had called Cyrus to do his job, man, before he was even born. You know, man, before he was even born. And then how Cyrus, you know, whooped them, whooped Ashkenazi and them that had controlled the Babylonian nation. You know, Ashkenazi controlled the Chaldean nation under the name Scythian. They was in the army, and they tried to downplay that, but they was in the army, and they destroyed Assyria. They had took Babylon over and was riding with them, and then they destroyed Assyria, and then they was coming down, man, to get us, and then they had got 1% of us, and the rest ran into Africa by way of Egypt, and then that 1% they took to Babylon. And then, worked them, had them making bricks and all kind of stuff. Man, in Babylon, man, they say Nebuchadnezzar had 1,000,000 bricks made, man, with his name and stamp on it. And ain't nobody but us made them bricks in Babylon. Man, and so forth. That they was working us like all other folks did when they captured a bunch of Israelites, is how they put you to work. And they did that to us. All right. Well, when those Israelites, man, was in Babylon, freed by Cyrus, and then they come home, man, you get Ezra history, you get Haggai, Zechariah, Esther, Nehemiah, and Malachi. Those individuals cover the exiles history, and if you look at the exiles history, man, it ain't too good. It's awful, towards the end if you read it in that order. But when the Israelites come home from Babylon, man, they had a chance. Man, we had a chance. Man, we had a chance, man. Man, we had a good chance, but because Ezra, man, they was trying to get it right, but something happened to the exiles, and then that's gonna be the priests. Man, the priests got corrupted. The enemies came after the priests, the center of the worship. But we have to understand that the enemies were lodged in our heritage from the beginning. That's why come the priests could never get it right, and we could never just get it right because we had a hidden entity inside of our heritage, and man, they would get control. They would get control of our enemies of Samaria, and then they would have false worship there, mixing our heritage with their heritage when our enemies was placed in Samaria in 722 BC. And then they was at the exiles. They was trying to control Israelite worship, and they was getting control of the Israelite heritage. And I'm going to try to see if I could give you guys, maybe in the Israelite community, a little glimpse into this and then how this go. All right, look. We know that Cyrus, look, this is in this is the book of Isaiah. This will be in 711 BCE. This is 152 years, man, before he, was, man, come about. It's 152 years. All right, this saith Elohim to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have held, and to subdue nations before him, and I will loose the loins of kings, to open before him the two leveled gates, and the gates shall not be shut. All right, Cyrus came about, man, and did what he did and freed the exiles, because the Creator had promised the exiles that he will bring them home. They're called the good figs in the book of Jeremiah. You got the good figs and the bad figs. And the good figs went on to Babylon like the Creator told them, and trusted in the Creator to bring them back home. And the Creator brought them home. I think, man, our folks stayed in Babylon about a good 50 years. Man, you know what I'm saying? It was about 50 years. They didn't stay there no long time, and then how that they was freed, and then they came home, and it was only just a small percentage of them, man. It wasn't no big percentage, man. It wasn't no big percentage of us took into Babylon, man. I think it was like maybe 20,000, and then what's 20,000 out of some millions? A million folks is nothing, and they was took it to Babylon when we went into Africa to do the Egyptian religion, and how when them Israelites come back home from Babylon, we didn't come back out of Africa to be reunited with them. We didn't come out of Africa to be reunited with them. And I showed it was, basically over. But let me show you this here. Look, you see how Cyrus was 152 years, man, before he come about, man, to free the, our people from Babylon, and how the Creator called him by name, and did he come about, King Josiah was called by name too, in 300 some years before he was born. And then he cleaned up the Egyptian religion, and the Egyptian and Canaanite religions in the promised land, and the Egyptians would, get him, kill King Josiah, and then Egyptians would put they puppets, King Josiah's son on the throne. How the sons don't be wanting to follow the father's ways and stuff, and it's easy to manipulate some of them because they be wanting to, do things their way and stuff. And then how did the Egyptians put the Egyptian religion on the tribe of Judah, our last stance of Yah worship. Their whole thing is to control Yah worship, or to extinguish it. Control it or extinguish it. If you control Yah worship, then the Israelites don't have no power. See, the Israelites' only power is in Yah worship. That's like right now today. If you believe in a godson, or any of the religions that was not given to Prophet Abraham or Isaac or Prophet Moses, then our enemies none kind of like one in your heritage. You know what I'm saying? Your foreparents, the enemies were successful, and and right now today Israelites have history that they can wake up and understand and see what's going on, but that the enemy's religion and control is so powerful that the Israelites can't break loose. And that's because the enemy's job is to control the way that the Israelites worship. Yup. Alright, we know that the prophet Ezra was around during Cyrus' time, and then Cyrus would have a son who didn't, manage to rule, and then Darius, the next man in charge, would come on, and then during this time, the Israelites had a chance, man, to get right the exiles from the Babylonian captivity when they started to come home, but they didn't, man. And I'm gonna try to reconstruct how they failed and how it was over with, and how the heritage didn't go over into New Testament times and so forth. Look now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Elohim by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Elohim stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing. This says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Elohim Yah of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he had charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. So, man, you see how 152 years in the book of Isaiah that he called on, that Isaiah called on Cyrus to do this, and then how Cyrus wasn't even born, show you that Isaiah was a prophet, because here's 100 and something years, 52 years later, he doing exactly this. And we know that Ezra wasn't living during the time of prophet Isaiah and so forth, but the Israelites was given the chance. Look, Ezra and Cyrus. All right, now, man, I want to show y'all this. All right, as we gonna read some of Ezra, man, I want to show that these individuals, Zerubbabel and Joshua, uh, 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 man, they was right on time and tried to preserve the Israelite heritage, but our enemy's power was so strong that after them, man, we lost everything, and that the enemies was at the priests. Man, they was at the priests. Man, they was at the priests. Look, I want to show y'all this right here. Man, I want to show y'all this. All right, we're gonna go to Haggai. We're gonna go to Haggai. This is 18 years or 17 years when we started to come home, and Darius is on the throne. This is in the second year of Darius, and Haggai uh, was around during the second year of Darius, as the same as Zechariah. Zechariah was around the second year of Darius. So, these two histories, mean is related, and the peoples were around during that time. That's like I could show you that Zechariah was, and Zechariah and the prophet Haggai was around doing prophet Ezra time. You know, during prophet Ezra time. And then if you go to, let me see what that'd be. Yeah, they was around doing prophet Ezra time. Let me see if I can find that verse. Let me see, 6. Ezra 6. Alright, look, you see, alright, and the elders of the, it ain't no Jude, but they put that word Jude. The elders of the Judeans built, and they prospered through the prophesying of Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo. So we know that them two individuals, those two prophets' histories is here, and they was around during the time of Ezra, because if you go look at Haggai, this is 522 BCE, in the same as Zechariah, gonna be 522 BCE. You know what I'm saying? 520 BCE, and that's like 18 years in the land. The Israelites been in the land for 18 years, but we have to remember, before then, the land was empty of Israelites, man. I'm talking about it was empty of Israelites for 50 something years. 50 something years, man. We went into Africa in 588 BC, and the land was empty. Judah was empty, and to show this, so when the exiles come home, they gonna be the only Israelites in the land, and they only lived in Judah's inheritance, because Samaria and all them other parts, man, was conquered, man, and took over. Look, and then I'm gonna show a little bit on the map too, because I believe that'll help. All right, man, when we come back from Babylon, we only lived, man, in these parts, and then how all these other parts, man, was controlled by our enemies and so forth, and then that how that they was trying to get a hold of these parts, the Edomites and everybody, and then got hold of the land. But the King Cyrus had made it a point that some of the Israelites, when they the ones captured, can return back to their land, and them folks had to get some land up, but we only lived in a little small part of our heritage and so forth. We only lived in a small part of our heritage, and then the enemies was trying. They got that through mortgages and so forth. The Israelites start mortgaging the land, and they corrupted the priests. And then the Greeks roll up because the peoples was mixing and starting to pass the heritage off to the enemies and so forth. Alright. So we know Zechariah and Haggai was there during that time, and we're going to read their history. But I want to read something so you Israelites can kind of like can get a sense of what was going on during that time. So we know that Zerubbabel was the man, and that the Most High was with the exiles. He was with the exiles when they come back from home, and they had a chance. They had a chance because they were still under the covenant that was given to us when we left Egypt. The one that Moses got at Mount Sinai. They were still up under that covenant, and they had a chance. And then, like I said in the previous video, is that if they had did the law and did right, we would have perished in Africa, and this wouldn't be going on today, and how that they would have been the righteous kingdom that Almighty Yah wanted. They would have been the priestly nation that the Creator wanted. They would have been the priestly nation that the Creator wanted. And man, the world wouldn't be as it is today. You know, the world wouldn't be as it is today. You know, but we Israelites couldn't hold on to the law. And then that's what, you know, all these religions, you know, come about. You know, look at this right here. Now therefore, this is Exodus 19. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests in the holy nation. And these are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. Look, you see that kingdom of priests in the holy nation. Well, man, the servant has some priests, and they don't want y'all priests to lead the earth in worship. So, you know, man, they come at us, whoever doing y'all worship, man, the enemy is gonna come at you, and they gonna try to distort that y'all worship. And then that's what a lot of the Israelites, you know, got distorted y'all worship when they believe in multiple god systems and so forth. All right, man, we see, all right, Cyrus gave the folks the leeway to come home, and then Ezra opened the door to do what he was doing, and things was prosperous then, and then something went wrong. But I want to show this right here. Look, in the second year, the king in the second year of Darius, the king, in the 6th month, in the first day of the month, came the word of the Elohim by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua the son of Josedek the high priest, saying, This speak the Elohim of hosts, saying, These people say, the time is not come, the time that the Elohim house should be built. Then came the word of the Elohim by Haggai the prophet, saying, It is time for you, O ye, to dwell in yours. Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed house, and in this house lie waste? Now, therefore, this saith the Elohim of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and brought in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that endureth wages earneth wages to put into a bag with holes. This said the Elohim of hosts, consider your ways. Man, we was all messed up. And when the Israelites come back, you know, they went to Babylon like they was told in the Creed of Freedom, like he said, but we were still of the same stock of Israelites that was messed up. Look, this is what I forgot to do. Show y'all that the land was empty during the Babylonian wars, and that when those Israelites come home from Babylon, they got corrupted. that they gonna be the only Israelites in the land. That I'm gonna skip my mind. We go to Jeremiah 44. 44. So this would be before Ezra. This is during the Babylonian Wars when everybody was kidnapped. When everybody was kidnapped, and then Cyrus let everybody come home. You know, the ones that was kidnapped. All right. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the Judeans which dwelt in the land of Egypt, which dwelt in Midigo, and at Tapanes, and at North, and in the country of Petro, saying, This said the Elohim of hosts, the Yah of Israel, ye have seen all the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem and upon all the cities of Judah, and behold, this day they are a desolation, and no man dwelleth therein. So nobody wasn't in the land, and it was empty. The 99% went into Africa during the Babylonian Wars in the book of Jeremiah, and that 1% that was captured went to Babylon, and then Cyrus freed them, and then that'll be these Israelites' history right here. Alright, so we know that the land was empty, and that, that everybody, captured, got a chance to come home, and then everybody come home from Babylon too. Let's check this out. Everybody come home from Babylon. Alright. Everybody come home from Babylon. If you read Jeremiah 50, it was an order to leave Babylon. And look, Jeremiah 51. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Elohim vengeance, and he will render unto her at Rikos. And Cyrus dealt a blow to him. Cyrus dealt a blow to him, and then them Israelites come home, because it was an order by the Creator to leave there. So that'd be Ezra, Haggai, Zechariah, Esther, Nehemiah, and Malachi's history, contained those Israelites that had, went to Babylon and then come back. And then it was people in the land, and then the peoples in the land, when we come home, was trying not to let the Israelites do Yah worship. And I showed from the beginning how the Amorites had got into our heritage. The Sebhardis had got into our heritage in the book of Joshua as Gabonites, and they was Amorites, and then how their scribes was placed in Samaria and controlled Samaria since 722 BCE. And let me show this. And then them same folks tried to get the exiles. They was working on the exiles and tried to get in to worship with the exiles. Remember, the 99% gone into Africa to do the Egyptian religion. And when those exiles come back, them folks had to get them and corrupt them. And because they was the last other peoples trying to do Yah worship, and they succeeded. All right, if you go to 2 Kings, that'll be 2 Kings 17:24. Look, and the king, and this is in 722 BCE. Look. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutter, and from Abel, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. So them folks had control of Samaria. We kind of like really never just got control of it back, even though King Josiah cleaned up the Egyptian religion, and how those folks are lay down their religion when they see that it's in danger, and then try to act like they with us. But soon as they see us breaking bad, with Almighty Yah, then they bring their old wicked ways back to influence us not to worship Yah. And then that's what happened to the priests that come back from Babylon. Look, look here. Look, you see how those folks in Samaria in 722 BC? All right, go to Ezra. Go to Ezra. Man, it'll be Ezra 6 when they tried to get in and worship. And then this what I believe the Creator loved it, Zerubbabel and Joshua, because they resisted them folks. They come back from Babylon raggedy and so forth, and needed everything, but they resisted those Amorite Sebhardists from getting into our heritage and so forth. Then they tried to anyway. All right, let's go to Ezra. Let, let's go to Ezra 6 and then see what it say. Is that Ezra 6? And see, that might. Alright, man, it might be in Nehemiah. Well, let's see Ezra 6. Let's see what it say. No. Alright, it'll be Ezra 4. Ezra 4. Those people that was placed in Samaria was still around when the exiles come back, and we know that the folks in Samaria did a mixture of our heritage and the Babylonian heritage, and then I show how them folks went home to Babylon. Then them folks went home to Babylon, the ones that was placed in our land in 722 BC, and started recruiting and spreading the heritage that they had created in Samaria, a mixture of our heritage, and took it to Babylon. And and then they wanted to get in and worship with the exiles, because the exiles had been to Babylon and and was there. You know, they stayed there 50 something years. Look. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity built the temple unto the Elohim Yah of Israel, they came. Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers, and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your Yah as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esther the king of Assyria, which brought us up hither. Look, so they been around. They been in our heritage since the king of, 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 of Assyria had placed them men in our land. Look, but Zerubbabel and Joshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house with unto our Yah, but we ourselves together would build unto the Elohim Yah of Israel, as King Cyrus the king of Persia had commanded us. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus of Persia, even unto the ring of Dures, king of Persia. And Dures gonna be the one that Haggai and Zechariah and them gonna be, you know, getting in under his watch. And things had started to change after this, after they had came and tried to get in with us. Like I say, if they get in and control Yah worship, then we can't do it right. And these peoples corrupted the priests and so forth, those folks that tried to get in our heritage. And they come from Samaria. Look, and in the days, in the days of Esther's kingdom, of much of the Tabli of the rest of their companions unto Esther's king of Persia, the writings of the letters was written in the Syrian tongue and interpreted in the Syrian language. And Syria is gonna be where them folks, the Amorite stronghold. Rahum the counselor and Shimi the scribe wrote letters against Jerusalem to Asher's king. You know what I'm saying? So look, then wrote Rumi the counselor and Shimi the scribe and the rest of their companions, the Danites, the Archiphites, the Tarpalites, the Arphixites, the Archivites, the Babylons, the Shushanites, the Devites, and the Elamites, and the rest of the nations whom the great such had brought over and set in the cities of Samaria, and the rest that are on this side of the river. See, all them folks, men come from Samaria. All them folks come from Samaria, had that false worship that they had mixed our heritage, with their heritage. And then while we was gone for the 50 years to Babylon, that 1% that them folks was still in the land. And then when the peoples come back trying to rebuild, they tried to bring that falseness over into our heritage, and then that would corrupt the priests. When you read in the books how the priests didn't do right and do right, man, them folks come after the priests, because look at this priest right here, but what Almighty God did for Joshua. All right, let me see, what did I do? All right, let's read this. All right, in the second year of Durs king, in the 6th month, in the first day of the month, came the word of the Elohim by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and the governor of Judah, and to Joshua the son of Josedech, the high priest, saying, "This said the Elohim of hosts." You know, the people wouldn't build a house and get to trying to build a house and stuff. That's because them folks gonna be trying to corrupt them, and they was corrupting them. They didn't want them to build a house unless they was probably trying to build it with us. Look, then came the word of the Elohim by Haggai the prophet, saying, you know, is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed house, and this house lie waste? Now therefore, this saith the Elohim of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and brung in little. Ye eat, but ye have not eaten. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth the wages to put into a bag with holes. This saith the Elohim of hosts, consider your ways. Go up to the mountains and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith the Elohim. Ye look for much, and lo, it come to little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow up on it. Why? Saith the Elohim of hosts, because of my house that is waste, and ye run every man unto his own house. Therefore the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit. And I call for a drought upon the land and upon the mountains, and upon the corn and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon which the ground bringeth forth, and upon man, and upon cattle, and upon all the laborers of the hands. Then Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and Joshua Jodish the high priest, with all the remain of the people, obeyed the voice of the Elohim their Yah, and the words of Haggai the prophet, as the Elohim their Yah had sent him. And the people did fear the Elohim, save that they was doing right. They was doing right during Haggai and Ezra time. But then something happened. Something happened around Malachi time, Nehemiah time, and Malachi time, that something changed, and the folks wasn't trying to do anything, and it was over with. Look, then spake Haggai, the Elohim's messenger, and the Elohim's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, said the Elohim, and the Elohim stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua, the son of Jodis, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remainder of the people. And they came and did work in the house of the Elohim of hosts, and in the 24th day of the 6th month, in the 2nd year of the king of Dura's king. And in the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, came the word of the Elohim by the prophet Haggai, saying, Speak now to Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, governor in Judah, and of Joshua of Judah, the high priest, and to the residue of the people, saying, Who is left among you that saw this house in her first glory, and how do ye see it now? Is it not in your eyes in comparison of it as nothing? Yet now be strong, Zerubbabel, said the Elohim, and be strong, O Joshua, son of Jezi, the high priest, and be strong, all ye people of the land, said the Elohim, and work, for I am with you, said the Elohim of hosts, according to the word that I covenant with you when you come out of Egypt. So my spirit remain among you, fear not. So they could have did right. They could have did right, and they could have made it. But something went wrong. Man, them folks had to get in and corrupt the Yah worship, and they got the priests. For this said the Elohim of hosts, Yet once is a little while, and I will shake the heavens and the earth and the sea and dry land, and I will shake all nations. The desire of all nations shall come, and I will fill this house with glory, said the Elohim of hosts. This silver is mine, and the gold is mine, said the Elohim of hosts. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than the other former, said the Elohim of hosts, and in this place will I give peace, said the Elohim of hosts. And in the 24th day of the month, see, Almighty, I wanted them to do right, and He was with them, but they didn't want to do right. And King of Durs came the word of the Elohim by Haggai the prophet, saying, This said the Elohim of hosts, Ask now the priest concerning the law. If one bear holy flesh in the skirt of his parts, see, they start breaking bad about this time. Look. If one bear holy flesh in the skirt of his garment, and with this skirt do touch bread or pottage or wine or oil or any meat, shall it be holy? And the priest answered and said, No. Then said Haggai, If one that is unclean by a dead body touch any of the touch any of these things, shall it be unclean? And the priest answered and said, It shall be unclean. Then answered Haggai and said, So is this people, and so is this nation before me. So we thought we was holy, and everything we did was righteous regardless, but it wasn't in the sight of Almighty Yah. And that how the people started to fail, the exiles started to fail. And now I pray you consider from this day and upward, from before a stone was laid upon a stone in the temple of the Elohim, since these days when one come to an heap of 20 measures, there were but 10. And when one come to press fat for the draw 50 vessels out of the press, there were but 20. Man, they siphoning the stuff off, and they ain't doing right. And them folks was in the temple getting some of the blessings. And I'm gonna show this. I smote you with a blasting mule and with hell, and with all the labor of your hands ye have turned not to me, saith Elohim. All right, look, let me show you how that they can easily be losing stuff in the temple, how people will donate this, and then somebody scheming off the top. It's gonna be because they let these folks in. They let these folks in. And this is towards the end. If you go to Nehemiah, that'll be Nehemiah, and that'll be them folks that wanted to deal with us from Samaria, the Sephardists that's in our heritage now. Alright. Let me see. Alright, let's see them folks in the temple. Alright, look, right here. They in the temple right here. So this is why the temple gonna be coming up short. And the priest is gonna be coming up short. Cause you see them folks wanted to worship with us. They wanted to worship with us. And now look, And on that day, they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonites and the Moabites should not come into the congregation of Yah forever, because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them that he should curse them. Howbeit our Yah turned the curse into a blessing. Now it come to pass, when they had heard the law, that they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude. And before this, Eliashib the priest, having the oversight of the chamber of the house of our Yah, was outlined unto Tobiah, and he had prepared for him a great chamber, where aforetime they laid the meat offerings, the frankincense, the vessels, and the tits of the corn, and the new wine, and the oil, which commanded to be given to the Levites, and the singers, and the porters, and the off. So the enemy then got in the temple. The enemy then got in the temple, and then that's why come the stuff was coming up missing in the temples, because the enemy then got in the temple. They then got in to distort the Yah worship, and then that's like, if you can get an Israelite not to do Yah worship, you can control them, and then that's what the enemies was out to do. So we see in the book of Haggai, when he start talking about, you know, this and that, and that they had got in the temple. Look, you see Haggai way up here, right, right there. But by the time we get down to Nehemiah times, they in the temple. They in the temple. I just showed y'all how they say that they wanted to worship with us and get in the temple. See, and then the whole thing is to not let Israelites worship Yah by themselves, and to get in it intended, or to confuse it, and, and to keep it away from the Israelites' pure Yah worship. It's the enemy's job. But you see, during Haggai time, they was blessed and doing right. But then by this time, they done got in the temple and started stealing. Well, Haggai started, you know what I'm saying, they was noticing the stuff wasn't coming up right then. But sure enough, by this time, the enemy's in the temple, because we know during Ezra time, man, Zerubbabel and them said that they couldn't come worship with us, and we told them no. Let's look at this again. Let's look at this again. All right. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Elohim Yah of Israel, then came they to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers, and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your Yah as you do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of the kings of Assyria, which brought us up hither. So, that's awful. So look. Then sent the king answer unto Rumi the chancellor, and to Shemi the scribe, and to the rest of their companions that dwelt in Samaria. That's gonna be where the Sebhard is placed at. The Sebharavims, the people that's called Sebhard, Sebharadim, and Sebharadim, when they was placed in Samaria in 722 BC. All them nations, I just showed about 12 nations moved in. So their whole job is to keep us from doing Yah worship. It's a tug of war now during the exiles period, during the exiles time, and then they lose. The exiles lose, because remember, we in Africa doing the Egyptian religion in the book of Jeremiah. Let's do that for you newcomers. Look, we in Africa doing the Egyptian religion in the book of Jeremiah. All right, everybody. Look, then this is Jeremiah 44. 15. Then all the men which knew that their wives had burnt incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by a great multitude, even all the people that dwelled in the land of Egypt and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, As for the word thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Elohim, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do so whatever thing go forth out of our own mouth to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, our princes, in the cities of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by sword and famine. So, they done defeated the whole Israelite nation right there. They went into Africa to do the Egyptian religion. The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom got caught up in the false god worship, the multiple god worshiping system, and then we got sent off, chased out the land, and went into Africa, and was eventually enslaved. And here we go. But the exiles that had come back home from Babylon, we didn't go back out meant to be reunited with them after saying we was going into Egypt, meant to do the Egyptian religion in the book of Jeremiah. And that how when these Israelites come back home, they was faced with the enemies that was still in the land, that had mixed our heritage up with their heritage, and then they start corrupting the priests, and then the people start losing the land. The exiles did. The exiles start losing the land. And look what Nehemiah said towards the end. We know the book of Malachi gonna be the show enough end. But look what the prophet Nehemiah said. All right. This is Nehemiah 9:36. Behold, we are servants this day, and for the land that thou givest our fathers to eat the fruit thereof and the good thereof, behold, we are servants in it, and it yielded much increase unto the kings whom thou hast set over us because of our sins. Also they have dominion over our bodies and over our cattle at their pleasure, and we are in great distress. Look, we are in great distress. And then that's how the exiles was, because remember we told them folks they cannot build with us. They cannot build with us. And man, that everything broke loose then. Everything broke loose then. When we told them folks they couldn't worship with us. All right, go to Nehemiah 5, and then this will show you how the folks was mortgaging the land, doing all kind of stupid stuff. Look, but there were our sons and our daughters. This is 5. Many, therefore, we take up corn for them, that we may eat and live. Some also there are that said, we have mortgaged our lands and vineyards and houses, that we might buy corn because of the drought. There were also that said, we have borrowed money for the king's tribute, and that upon our lands and vineyards. So man, they start selling the land. Yeah, now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, our children as the children. And lo, we bring into bondage our sons and our daughters to be servants. And some of our daughters are bought unto bondage already. Man, they were selling themselves. Neither is it in our power to redeem them. For the other men have our lands and vineyards. And man, it was over with. It was over with for the exiles. It was over with, and Nehemiah telling you the conditions. He telling you the conditions of the people, and look at the enemies. Now it come to pass when Sanballat and Tobiah and Gershom the Arabian and the rest of the enemies heard that I had builded the wall. See, look, you see what it says. in the Arabian. In the Arabian, them Edomites. So all them folks that's over there in the promised land right now gonna be descended from these folks right here that got a whole tile land when they put the exiles lights out. And then those are the Edomites that's in the land right now. Because remember the book of Badia say that Edom will have control of our land in East Jerusalem. And sure enough, look, you can see how them folks over there now. And who in control now? Well, they got control after they had destroyed the exiles. Alright, so we see that Haggai, Zechariah, and all them was around doing Ezra time. Alright, look. In the 8th year, Haggai gonna come first because it's in the 2nd year, in the 2nd month of Doors, and then 6 months later, look. Alright, let me show this. Look, in the 2nd year of Doors, and the king in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month. Alright, so then this is the 8th month in the 2nd year of Doors. So this like 2 months later. 2 months later, after Haggai, this came. Look, in the 8th month of the 2nd year of Doors came the word of the Elohim unto Zechariah, the son of Berish, the son of Edu. And we know that he was around during Ezra time because, alright, we know he was around during Ezra time because we show this. Zechariah. Alright, let's see Zechariah 6. He was around during Ezra time. I just showed that. Alright. See? Haggai. Haggai. And this is Ezra 6. So you see Haggai and Zechariah, son of Iddo. Alright, so they there. So they there. And then this is to be 2 months after. Alright, this will be 2 months after. In the 2nd year, in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month. So this is Zechariah is 2 months after Haggai, and they all doing Ezra time. This when we was trying to get it together, but by the time you get around Nehemiah time, you will see that it's kind of like over with, and we losing everything. And then when you get to the book of Malachi, you see how the priests is corrupted all the way. I just showed you how the folks tried to get in, and worship with us. So they gonna come after the priests. So whatever happened to the priests, gonna affect us all the way down. It's gonna affect our worship. See right here, these are the exiles. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity built the temple unto the Yah, the Elohim Yah of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your Yah as you do. And we do sacrifice unto him. Since, see, we ain't leading that sacrifice in that worship that they doing. That is a version of our heritage. And then I can show you how they mixed it up. You know what I'm saying? If you go to 2 Kings. 2 Kings 24. So them folks gonna be trying to mess the real worship up. If they doing the false worship. So these peoples in 2 Kings 17:24 brought to our land and started trying to worship our heritage. Look. Alright. So, and this is 17:25. So it was at the beginning of their dwelling that they feared not the Elohim, therefore they sent lions them. Wherefore, alright. And the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry them one of the priests whom you brought from thence, and let them go and dwell. Alright. And see, then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel and told, and howbeit every nation made gods of their own and put them in the house of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. That's all them peoples that moved to our land that the king of Assyria in place. I showed you that. And they was trying to get in on the exiles. And the men of Babylon made Sukkot, and the men of Cutter made Norjel, and the men of Hamath made Asherim. All right. So they feared the Lord and made unto themselves the lords of them priests and of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the high places. They feared the Lord and served their own gods. Look, they feared the Lord and served their own gods. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's why we have to lead in Yah worship, and that's why the enemies don't want us to lead in Yah worship. But you see them peoples doing a version of our heritage to where when the exiles come back from Babylon, that they try to get in on them, put that stuff in on them. And then we told them no. But by the time you get to Nehemiah and Malachi, man, the priests is corrupted and is over with. And then the Israelite history go out in the book of Malachi. And then them folks got our heritage, and then, man, we the only ones standing, the ones in captivity, and we could put this history together now and understand what's going on, and that our enemies don't want us to control Yah worship. The Israelite job is to stay away from other people's worship, not based on Yah. The enemies want to control the Israelites' worship, and that's what all this is about. Basically, that's what the Tanakh is about. That's what the Tanakh is about. Man, if you go to Joshua, and then you read the book of Joshua, oh man, you will see that that's all it was that we was tricking off with the other folks' gods and religion, and that brings destruction on us. That brings destruction on us and let our enemies survive. You know, minute let our enemies survive. Yeah, man, we start to fall off in the book of Joshua, mixing and playing around with them folks' religion. And then after we get beat down and we come back to Yah worship, then we'll stay in Yah worship for a while and prosper. But then when we prosper and have it real good, then we forget our source, man of our goodness, and then we'll start slipping and playing with the other folks' religions, and then that'll bring destruction on us. And then our enemies see that us playing with their religion bring destruction on us, make them want to put their religion on us all the time. You know, the enemies want to control the Israelites' worship because we supposed to follow our father Abraham and how he worshiped, man, the Creator, as it was promised that we would do. You know, if you go to man, where that'll be, where Abraham told that the Almighty Yah know that Abraham after him and that his kids will follow his ways. Look, and Abraham departed, and Elohim spoke to Lot, and spoken unto him, and Lot went with him, and Abraham had served 75 years old when he departed out of Haran, and Abraham took Sarah. But anyway, prophet Abraham made promise, and Elohim appeared unto Abraham, and said unto thy seed will I give this land, and there he built him a temple. But you know, the thing is that prophet Abraham promised the Creator that his descendants will follow him and him only, and not a multiple God worshiping system. Prophet Abraham left Mesopotamia not to be involved in the multiple God worshiping system, and went to Canaan for his descendants to destroy the root of the multiple God worshiping system. So that's why the enemies don't want the Israelites to worship one Yah. and want you to worship a multiple God worshiping system, and you see them trying to put control on us in meaning to knock history. Alright, Israelites, I just want to just put this out here, and I'm going to do a little more on the exiles history. I'm going to start going deeper into Zechariah and Nehemiah and Malachi and Ezra too. It's good to read them books and then understand the order that they was written in history, and then you can see how that they slowly started to slip, after they come back, from Babylon. That's why the Creator told this. Now we know that if they under the old covenant, and the Creator say that He gonna give us a new covenant, that old covenant lights was probably gonna go out, which it did. If you go to Jeremiah, let's see, that'll be Jeremiah 31, 31. Let's see. Behold, the days come, saith the Elohim, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, said the Elohim. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, said the Elohim, I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their Yah. And they shall be my people, and they shall no more teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Elohim, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Elohim. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So the Yah worship got to be in you. Look, man, the Israelites' job is to stay away from other people's worship, not based on Yah. All right, the New Testament doctrine is not based on Yah, but based upon a God's Son. And then that history come 500 years after the exiles were destroyed, who was trying to keep the one Yah worship alive. But we see how the enemies tried to get into our heritage, and eventually did, and destroyed the priesthood and destroyed the Israelite nation that had come back from Babylon, and how we Israelites in Africa was the last stand. Alright, Israelites, that's from the Israelite Brotherhood.